Hey guys, welcome back. It has been a minute here. I was kind of finishing up a bachelor's degree program, starting a new job, all this good stuff. So it's been a minute, but we're back with things. We're gonna get back into the groove of things here. Summer's starting. Of course, as promised, we are talking about Megadeth's newest and final album, the self-titled one. Love the album cover. I think it's so cool. I've liked that cover since it was revealed. Very, very cool stuff. And here, you got a whole new lineup of the band, which is kind of wild, on the last album, which let me see if it's got the guys' names in here. Yeah, you got, of course, Dave Mustaine, guitars, vocals. You got Timu Mantisari on guitars, who, I might add is pretty awesome, pretty good shredder. James Lomenzo on bass, bringing it back. And then you got Dirk Verburen on the drums, who was a new member of the band, and he's pretty damn good. Um, this album has been really kind of, people kind of have been really divisive with this record. And we'll get into kind of why here, and I understand some of it as well. If I can get this damn thing going, there we go. But so we open up with the track, and this was the first single that was released off of here, Tipping Point. And it might just be the best track off the whole album because when this song released, I was like, man. And it's got kind of a simple and kind of repetitive kind of chorus, but that's not a bad thing by any means. I mean, it's such a heavy tune. I like the breakdown and the kind of the closing parts of this song. Just really, really dig this one. And this is the track. I mean, again, it was the first single. It made me excited for the album coming out. And I was like, this is going to be some heavy hitting business. Then we go with track number 2 called I Don't Care. And I don't care about this song. I can tell you that because it's just not very good. Right? This is where I was like, oh boy. Because when this single dropped, I was like, what are they doing? It's kind of this, I get what it is. It's kind of this funny, kind of punky tune or whatever. And it's too on the nose, just really corny for me. And I'm not a fan of this track at all. Like, one of my least favorite songs of them, just ever. I did not like it. Then you go with track number 3, and this one is a really good one. Another really heavy one that kind of more in the same vein of Tipping Point. We're talking about Hey God. And, I really like the kind of the riff on this one, the groove this one has. Solid track, no doubt about it. Then we get kind of another kind of little bit, kind of corny one, but one I don't mind. Let There Be Shred. This one I wasn't too fond of at first because, that I Don't Care drops a single. I despise it, don't like it at all. And then Let There Be Shred comes out, and it's also kind of got that corny feel, and I'm like, this album's going to be weird. And on their final album of all things. But Let There Be Shred has grown on me. Not one of my favorites off here by any means, but it's fun, and it's, like the title of the track says, really shreddy, just wild guitar playing stuff. Then track number 5, we got Puppet Parade. And this is a pretty cool and kind of a dark song that is also, it really starts, kind of growing on you. Just really, really good stuff. Then track number 6, something that sounds like it's off like Cryptic Writings or something with kind of a more commercial sound. Another Bad Day. Really hooky one. Again, kind of a repetitive one, but it's really hooky. Will get in your head and just one that kind of, hones back to that Cryptic Writings kind of era of the band. Then we go with Made to Kill, and, possibly the heaviest off here, one of them. Very thrashy song. One of my favorites off here. Like in the top 3 for sure. I love Made to Kill. There's like, it's already heavier from the get-go, but then just things speed up and kick into another notch, and it's just such a badass song. Really, really love Made to Kill. That one just was a standout one from the beginning for me. Track number 8 might be my favorite. It's either Tipping Point or this one, Obey the Call. This one's got a really cool riff. Again, kind of a dark feel, and also like a really memorable chorus. I just love the vibe of this one. And just Dave's vocal delivery on Obey the Call is just really, really cool. And then track number 9, I Am War, not my favorite. It's solid. I don't love it by any means, but it's a solid track. Not one that I'm, that I try to go back to often or anything. And same with the final track that, closes out their final album, The Last Note. It's kind of a touching, closer. But, all in all, it's not, I don't think it's that great of a song. It's decent, it's cool, and it's kind of, it's kind of the spoken word parts of Dave going on there are pretty, pretty sad and everything. And, and it's a fitting closer to their career just with the lyric wise. I just don't think it's that great of a song, but it's good. And then you do have the bonus track, their Ride the Lightning cover, which I know a lot of people have been kind of digging on, and I don't really get it. For one, it's a bonus track, and it was cool. I think it sounded pretty cool. They didn't do anything crazy to the song or nothing, they didn't really make it all theirs. It wasn't that unique of a cover, but I mean, for what it was cool. But yeah, this album, again, very divisive. And for me, this is one, I've listened to it several times now. First time I was like pretty bummed out. I was disappointed, it being their last album. And you guys have seen the channel, I really, really liked their last album they put out. It was really heavy, just front to back. And not that this one is heavy, but it's just kind of thematically a little bit, there's kind of stuff going all over the place. And I guess that's not necessarily the worst thing, because you do get a little taste of this here, get a little taste of, some of their heavier thrasher stuff. You get a little taste of some of that cryptic writings type stuff. Then you also get a little taste of some of their corny, weird shit, right? But, I just, again, it has grown on me, though. Like, with subsequent listens, it's really grown on me, and some of the tracks have stood out more and more. And I do think it's a solid album. I've seen some people absolutely hate it. Some people love it. I got a brother, he absolutely loves it and is over the moon about it. And that's really cool. He loves it more than I do, for sure. But I do really dig the album. And it's one that may even, I might even end up liking even more over time. But it's not something that I absolutely love. It kind of just, it's a solid album. It's sad it's their last one. I wish they could have maybe went out on a stronger note with their last album, with the final album. But, and two, I think maybe the production isn't amazing or anything on it. I mean, it's solid, I guess. But, it just kind of felt like thematically a little bit all over the place. And just some different, there's a lot of different things going on here, which kind of, and throwing out a lot of different things, which isn't something you kind of want going for your last album, right? You'd think it'd be like, hey, let's just throw out the best of what we got, right? And maybe to them, that's what this was. But to me, it definitely wasn't. But I do think it's a good album. And again, each listen, I've liked it more and more. So, and the standout tracks with, Tipping Point, Hey God, Made to Kill, Obey the Call, Puppet Parade, those have started to, really sink their teeth into me, and I really, really do like those songs. And maybe this thing's going to grow on me even more. But, with that being said, we're going to see where this thing ends up ranking in the, in the confines of the rest of the catalog, and so that's going to be pretty interesting and pretty hard to do. But we're going to be doing that next time. And I do want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this album. Are you a lover of it? Are you a hater? Or are you kind of like me, where you've kind of had some mixed feelings on it and just kind of, I just dig it. It's a good album, solid, but nothing that blew you away. Because that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I do want to see what you guys think about it and kind of, read the room, kind of see where everybody else's heads are about it. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment, and let's talk about some Megadeth down there. Thanks, guys.